War is raging, government is stealing our freedom, food processing plants are burning, and gun sales are through the roof. You're in the right place. This is The Prepared Mind.
They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President.
Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel, folks, where we talk about facts, where we bring up the truth, where we expose the lies of the deep state, the political class, the bureaucracy, and all those who have power. And they try and use it on us, and they should not. They get exposed every time, especially when it's a conspiracy. Not a conspiracy theory, folks. Conspiracy truth, conspiracy fact, and it is demonstrable. In fact, you and I were right all along. Zuckerberg, or is it Mark Zuckerberg? Oh, he has now come out today and confessed his sin, and we're just supposed to forget all about it. That's okay, Mark. We trust you, billionaire asshole. You didn't do anything wrong. No. I don't forgive any of these people. If I, John, if the Prepared Mind went to a bank, went inside with a gun, handed the teller a note, said, give me all your cash, and I left, and I went down the street to the next bank and did the same thing, took a gun in, handed a note, said, give me all your cash, and I went to bank after bank after bank, year after year after year. And then I said to the government and the world, I'm sorry. I feel really bad about this. I regret it. Folks, Zuckerberg regrets doing what? Well, he censored, he silenced, he shut us up. He punished us on social media because he was pressured, influenced by, you got it, the government. He lied about everything by carrying their water, their propaganda, their conspiracies. Their conspiracy theory, the vaccine's fine. Their conspiracy, there was no fraud in this election. And don't forget, even though Zuckerberg's saying, I feel bad, I regret doing what I did. Yeah, because you've been caught, you little fuck. He lied to Congress multiple times, just like me, if I had gone in and robbed multiple banks. Well, I regret doing that. I'm not sorry, but I regret it because now you know who I am. Folks, I've never robbed a bank. But Zuckerberg has robbed everybody he can of everything he can. Take a look at him. Pronounce his name. Think about it. Do you think he is a nice person, or do he fucks people over? Go ahead and ask a few Hawaiians about the real estate rules he's used to fuck over Hawaiians. And then you'll know exactly who Zuckerberg is. But that's it. He has now admitted to election interference. He has. He has admitted to election interference. He should be in jail. He should be tried for it. No. I can't just regret. Is the government going to forget me? If I say I regret robbing banks, I regret stealing property, I regret destroying the environment. No. You and I don't get to have a little bit of regret and just walk. Not a chance. But speaking of regret, guess what? The attorney for the Department of Justice, he defended the Food and Drug Administration in court, but now he's admitting that their anti-ivermectin campaign was a mistake. We regret that. And it's an abuse of authority. Sorry about that. Oh, by the way, ivermectin is horse paste. If you were to watch my videos from the COVID lockdowns and the bullshit injection lockdowns, You have to get your Jim Jones juice or you can't come out in public or have a job or go shopping or use public spaces. Remember that? I had to call it horse paste because if I said ivermectin, they would take it down. Well, now, that's right. The attorney is admitting that their ivermectin war against us was a mistake. Sorry, we regret it. Once again, folks, I don't do conspiracy theories. I do conspiracy facts. I do conspiracy truths, and I'm glad you are here with me. Get your questions down below on this Tuesday. It's too much. We've got a lot to talk about. Please use all caps. Man's a little late getting to the show, so I'm flying solo for the time being. But definitely get your questions in. We've got a lot to discuss. What is going on? What is going on? More big news of the day? Hey, Kamala Harris says she is going to debate Trump. That's right. They're going to just stick to the old rules, right? Because ABC, right, on September 10th is going to be fair. Yeah, my ass. But Kamala wanted seats. She wanted them to sit down. Why would she want that? What is she going to do? Right, do some leg crossing and uncrossing to try and distract us? Whew, not a chance, right? Anyway, she wanted to be seated. Well, because Trump is tall. And they wanted to have, well, the questions and to be able to have, notes with themselves. Are you kidding me? Well, number one, she can't read anyways, but it's been settled. It's been settled, right? I'm expecting before we get to September 10th, which is literally, I think, 12 days away, 13 days away. I expect Kamala Harris to wimp out, to say she's sick, right, or something, or she goes into this debate and Trump just smashes her down. And it's a total shit show for Kamala, but she gets to claim Trump as a racist, a misogynist, a toxic felon. So they may try it, folks. Look, if there was any garbage to dig up on Trump, they'd have done it 8 years ago. Right? They would have dug it up 8 years ago. They've got nothing. But they're going to continue what works for them, right? Remember, they don't have to convince you to vote for Kamala. They have to convince their Democrat constituents not to vote for Trump. Understand that, folks. Trump voters are Trump voters. Democrats who like, well, cult of personality types like RFK or Tulsi Gabbard, I don't like either of them, folks. But they're going to bring voters over with them. And maybe these moderate, middle-of-the-road Democrats who aren't really sold on pedophilia, child sex change, open border, destroy America. There's some Democrats that aren't for the Kamala Harris World Economic Forum platform. And they're like, well, maybe we should think about saving ourselves from certain death and destruction. So they'll vote for Trump. Once again, Kamala and the Democrats and the mainstream media and the deep state, they need to make sure Kamala voters don't leave for Trump. That's all they're concerned with. They're not going to win Trump voters. They want to excite their people to get out the vote. I have some news for them. There's going to be fewer people excited to vote after a debate. And that is why I think that, well, Kamala is going to wimp out again in the future. They're going to stop it. They won't allow it. She is an absolute abject moron, worse than any of us had ever imagined. Worse than any of us we had ever imagined. But I'll tell you what to expect. Get ready, folks. There is an incredible wave of illegal immigrants heading to our border right now. This includes Middle Easterners, South Americans, Africans, and Chinese. And if Kamala loses, get ready for chaos to be unleashed between Election Day and Trump's inauguration. And if Kamala wins, I mean, if they cheat well enough to make it look like they can lie and say Kamala wins, that's a predictive, The predictive conspiracy theory. If she wins, they're still coming. But I expect incredible false flags to occur between now and Inauguration Day. They want chaos, folks, because out of chaos, they will create their order. Their order. You know, they want chaos, and then chaos begets chaos. That's how the Nazis did it. They used chaos, domestic violence, terrorists, and terrorism. Same with the Russians when they became communists. Same with China when they became communists. Same with Cuba when they became communist. Same with every country. When it became communist, they killed everybody that opposed them. And then they killed the killers with their armies. Get ready for it, folks. They're going to unleash the chaos on us. It is coming. And for our part, Republicans, conservatives, true Americans are fighting back. In the great state of Texas, my second choice, if I were to say I'm going to settle someone somewhere forever, it would be Texas, if not Florida. But the Attorney General there in Texas, Ken Paxton, he has done now election fraud raids on the homes of Democrats in Texas. You bet, folks, including elected officials like state house candidates and a local mayor. Law enforcement has seized 65 cell phones and 41 computers of people suspected of election fraud, and the raids have begun. The raids have begun in the state of Florida. Governor DeSantis has signed legislation saying if you have more than 2 ballots in your possession, you're guilty of a felony, election fraud. You know what I expect with that one, though? I expect the Democrats to send out ballots, multiple ballots to everyone they can, and then start accusing the Republicans of cheating. Just wait for it. Go ahead and wait for it. I'll be checking my mailbox. I'll go up out of the bunker, check the mailbox. If there's more than 1 ballot, what do? Do I turn it in? Do I call the police and say, hey, somebody has committed fraud and is sending me ballots, extras? Or do I just burn them? Contact your local law enforcement office to make sure you are within the law. Look out, folks. We're going to have a shit show. It is coming. All promises made by politicians need to be kept, must be kept. And that includes Mr. Trump, who today has declared war on dishonest Washington bureaucrats and the deep state. He's calling them crooked. Fine, call them crooked. He's calling them dishonest. I think that's an understatement. And he says this, quote, they're gonna be held accountable. I, me, you, us have been screaming for accountability for how many decades? I've even brought it up. If I break the law, I get arrested. I get charged with what? Violating someone's constitutional rights. And then I get sued, and then I go to jail. But if the government violates our rights, they don't get sued. They aren't held accountable. They don't go to jail. They don't pay a fine. They violate our rights with law enforcement, with ordinances, with the penal code, with all their bullshit. There's state codes, there's federal codes that violate our rights. And then we have to go fight in court and waste our time and our money proving that the Constitution still exists. There it is right there. It still exists. When the government comes and pries this out of my cold dead fingers, and then they burn it, and then they say there's no Constitution, then I'll believe it. Then I'll be dead. And the ghost of John will haunt them like they can't believe. Good golly, folks. When we're talking like this, look out. The United States Constitution was only written after the Declaration of Independence was written. Now, when it comes to King George, when it comes to the redcoats, when it comes to the governors and the judges that were sent over here to the American colonies in 1700s, did the American colonists, the people, did they try to impeach the king? Did they try and sue the governor? No. Did they go and try and vote out the tax collectors? Did they win over the redcoat law enforcement personnel with charm and just obey them? They'll figure out who the good guys are. No, indeed. You know what they did? They killed everybody they could. The American colonists killed everybody they could. You can't win elections with tyrants. You can't change the minds of crooked judges and cops. You cannot make the leader a dictator, a tyrant. You can't impeach them. They don't care. And that's why they were reduced to bullets, ammunition, to war. That is what this is all about. When government becomes tyrannical, the people have to defend their rights. That's where we're at. This is our last vote. And I'm glad we finally fucking got here. Think about it, if you will. Ask yourself the question. Did you ever think we would be able to vote and good, decent Americans would come out of the woodwork at the local, the state, and the federal level? Did you ever believe for a second we could fix everything by voting? I did. I believed in the American system, in the Constitution. You know what my mistake was? I realized the government doesn't give a shit about the Constitution, doesn't play by the rules. Therefore, we can't win. We have all these laws that don't allow communism, don't allow treason, don't allow espionage, don't allow people to steal this country, to fuck us over, to take our rights. There needs to be put into the Constitution an amendment. It needs to be the Constitutional Amendment 10.5, right? It needs to be put in the Bill of Rights. All government officials, whether elected or appointed by the people or by any other government official, can be held personally accountable for anything they do that violates the rights of others. Period. By being held accountable, there will be a personal fine, loss of property, loss of rights, jail time, or execution. Period. That needs to be put in the Constitution. They left out accountability. You know who left it out? The Founding Fathers. They wrote the Constitution with no accountability clause. The closest thing to an accountability clause in here is impeachment and voting. Thinking that voting, Americans would never vote to destroy their own country. Americans would never vote to give up their rights. Lo and behold, people are voting to give up their rights. They're called Democrats. Lo and behold, people are voting to destroy their country because they want free stuff from the government. They want the government to be their tax collector, to go out and take money from others and give to them. All promises, Mr. Trump, need to be kept. He says they're going to be held accountable. I am going to watch you, Donald J. Trump. I want to see people being perp walked. I want orange and pink jumpsuits. I want nice, shiny stainless steel bracelets and ankle cuffs on high-level politicians and bureaucrats and judges and law enforcement. I want the FBI cleaned out. I want the CIA cleaned out. I want them all cleaned out, folks. And this fight is really, truly going on right now. The Civil War, the Revolutionary War, the war against our constitutional rights, our laws, our lives, that fight is going on right now. And it is being fought at the federal level. It's even being fought at the international level and down in our state and even in our hometowns. Get this, folks. In Oklahoma, a teen, that's right, a young man, was told by school officials that he can't fly the American flag from his pickup. Meanwhile, they have the Flag It flag, the LGBTQIA, minor attracted persons, pedophile flags flying in schools, the communist flags flying in schools, but the American flag is bad. The American flag is wrong. It's not to be allowed. Well, the community got up and fought with him. A huge patriotic protest. Good people are fighting back at the local level. The teen is fighting back against these woke assholes, these child grooming, perverted freaks, Democrats, school teachers, right? There's 3 words that I have for you. It is time to fight, fight, and fight. Fight, 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 fight. It is time to fight these people at every stinking level. The time has come, folks. Get used to saying the word fight. It is that important. You need to think that I am now going to fight. I'm not recommending violence or danger. No. Political fighting like the Democrats do. Get ready. The time is coming. The time is coming. And now I want to introduce you to the concept of political paradox. That's right, political paradox. And this is compliments of Ben Stein. Anybody? That guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller. Ben Stein. He has a paradox, and I want to read it to you. He says this, and this has to do with thinking, philosophy, intelligence, logic, reason, maybe even a smidgen of common sense. This is a quote from Ben Stein. He says, fathom the hypocrisy of a government that requires every citizen to prove they are insured, but not everyone must prove they are a citizen. Many of those who refuse or are unable to prove they are citizens will receive free insurance paid for by those who are forced to buy insurance because they are citizens. Ponder that. You are forced to get insurance. But not everyone is forced to prove you're a citizen. But if you are not a citizen, you get free insurance. Can't you and I just claim that we're not a citizen and therefore not be liable to have to buy insurance, but rather get it for free? That is a paradox. But guess what? That is a reality we live in. The complete and absolute abject bullshit that is happening. I want these people held accountable. These left-wing idiots. I want them held accountable. Period. I want to go back to the great state of Texas, folks. The governor there, Greg Abbott, he's finally doing his job. He's acting like a conservative, patriotic Republican. He's been iffy over the years, but he's getting better, it seems, especially on an election year. I told you that Ken Paxton is doing raids on Democrats, officials, wannabe elected officials, and taking their phones, taking their computers, and they're going to prosecute them for election fraud. The governor, Greg Abbott, has had over 1 million ineligible, meaning unlawful, illegal criminal voters, over 1 million voters removed from the state voter rolls. This includes, folks, nearly 500,000 dead people. Over nearly 500,000 dead people in Texas registered to vote. are now removed from the voter rolls. They won't be voting. Dead people will not be voting. My stepdad, who has passed away, God rest his soul, rest in peace, Lyle, is not going to vote Democrat this year. Good. I'm sure he is very happy about that. But as far as I'm concerned, as huge as this is, 1 million ineligible, unlawful, illegal, criminal registrants, it's just a drop in the bucket. It's just a drop in the bucket. That's just one state, folks. Texas, a big state. Texas, a populous state. Texas needs to be way more Republican as far as I'm concerned. When they get all these people cleaned out, you're going to see blue, red. It's going to change. The state is going to look more red. It is going to vote more red, Republican, red, Republican. It will show that, folks. It's going to show up. It's happening in Florida as well. It is looking more and more Republican all the time. Doesn't mean the Democrats aren't out there, folks. You see 10 people walking down the street, 4 of them at least are Democrats. 4 of them at least are Democrats. And I want to tell you the power of you. Even though this is a small channel, there's only 80,000 of us. Even though there's only 80,000 of us, guess what? We're making a huge difference. Everybody who is fighting back is making a huge difference. That's why Zuckerberg is regretting what he did. That's why the government is, oops, sorry. Yeah, we were intimidating people. We were violating their rights. Sorry. Sorry is not good enough. Right? Now, when it comes to you and I, social media sharing, let me give you a clue. Right? One person, not me, not you, but one person out there is crushing the fake news media. This person has more YouTube views than NBC, CBS, CNBC, and the BBC combined. That person is Megyn Kelly, right? She used to be a Fox commentator, right? Who else do we have on Fox that's out there? Used to be Fox, but no longer. Right? Bill O'Reilly's still out there. He's an asshole, but he's still out there. He's still allowed to speak. You don't have to watch him. No, you don't have to watch him, but you can if you want. Right? Who else? Tucker, right? Tucker's out there making a difference. You and I were making a difference. Don't give up on yourself. Yes, this is going to be the last election. You know what my prediction is? Here's another prediction. In 2028, there won't be an election. There will not be an election in 2028. Regardless of whether camel toes or Trump wins. I'll tell you why. The Democrats won't allow it. If Trump and when Trump is elected, he'd better make some big changes. And if he lives up and does what he says he's going to do, the Democrats are going to lose their shit because more and more people will pile into the Republican side, the pro-America nationalist side. And the deportations, oh, that's high on the list. That's right at the fucking top. Get these illegals out of my fucking country. The Democrats won't like that. That's their new voter base. That's their replacement theory. How dare you Americans try being free? Right? Everyone needs to keep fighting, folks. Keep fighting, right? The Democrats, are they above accountability? Well, they shouldn't be, but they think they are. They believe, right? That's why Zuckerberg thinks he can just say, I regret violating people's rights, violating campaign finance laws, campaign contribution law, campaign interference laws, violating Trump's privacy. That's right. Don't worry. Violating Trump's right, his right to campaign, and his right to lie or tell the truth. But no. The Hunter Biden laptop was false. No, it wasn't. And Zuckerberg knew it. And the FBI knew it. And Hillary knew it. and Joe Biden knew it, and Camel Toes Harris knew it, and they all lied. And then they said, we can't talk about it. That's campaign election interference. These Democrats need to be held accountable, kind of like the Arizona mom. Guess what? She went to a city council meeting and was criticizing members of the city. And she was arrested. The mayor had her arrested for criticizing city officials. That is what public meetings between the public and government is all about. They can come in and they can speak freely about whatever topic they want. They can criticize, they can commend. But they had her arrested. Don't worry, her 10-year-old daughter was there to be horrified by this. But these Democrats think they're above accountability. Tell me, since when is speaking a criminal act? I say sue the fuck out of them personally, but they need to be held accountable. It's unbelievable. They need to be held accountable. You and I, we need to do it, folks. Let's do this now. Let's get to the second half of the show. Let's do the inner circle. And guess what? I've got your questions coming up. Get them down below in the comments in all caps. And here we go. I want to see people swinging from a fucking yard arm by the neck. Let's get into this. Chin Music starts off. He says, they always apologize when it's politically expedient. Oh, you bet, man. You nailed it. They're looking around. They lick their finger and stick it in the wind. They're like, the wind is blowing a little different. I better apologize. Chin says, so when will he censor? So he will censor Republicans and apologize, but never censor Democrats, socialists, communists, the World Economic Forum, bankers, politicians on the left. Nope. He won't censor them ever. You want to know why? Because Zuckerberg is a complete slimy little shit stain. And the employees, right? It's not just Zark. He's got a bunch of millennials. He's got a bunch of Gen Z. And they are a bunch of America-hating little shits. They want to steal your property, steal your money, steal your wealth. They hate you if you're Gen X. You know what's funny? Is they don't know jack shit. They really don't. Gen Xers, us, boomers, guess what we know? We know how to live without phones, smartphones. We know how to do that. We lived that way. It's just incredible. The amount of things we've done in life, and they don't have a fucking clue. They would melt down if they couldn't get some sort of foo-foo bullshit soy latte milk coffee and sit on their little smartphones. They have no idea how difficult life really is and how good life can really be. But when we get up to these powerful people, they will never apologize unless it's politically expedient. You are absolutely correct. Thank you, Mr. Chin Music. Let's find out who else is out there, has something to say on the Prepared Mind channel. And I'm scrolling. I'm looking for all caps. Well, Badass Diving Frog. I saw this. It's not capitalized, buddy, but I'll let you in. He says, hey, John, how come the government gets to use my tax dollars to prosecute me, but I have to pony up money to a person whose first duty is to the court to defend myself? That is correct. How come? That is correct. That's how it works. In order for the government to exist, it has no property that it gains. It's government's government. It is like the worst relative you could ever have. It is like a homeless person on the side of the road. It's got no money. It has no real purpose that it can actually point to, but it's going to pull a gun out and rob you. Right? At least a highwayman, at least a robber, has the dignity to claim to be a robber and say, I'm stealing your money, give it to me. Give me your wallet, give me your cash, give me your jewelry, give me. Government's like, oh, it's your civic duty to pay us. And if we feel like it, we're going to use our resources, which is your tax dollars, to come after you. We're going to use your money, your wealth to come after you and take you to court. So in order to defend yourself, you have to give even more money out to a court friend, a friend of the court, right? A lawyer, an attorney. And so you're going to have one attorney argue with another attorney in front of an attorney judge about how much money you have to pay and keep paying and how much jail time you have to do or not. The government officials never go to jail. You see, that's the intimidating factor behind it. We used to have this thing called justice. At least you believed if you went to court and had to spend all this money to protect yourself, at least you'd have a fair shake at it. Those days are fucking over. The jury is now politicized. If you're a Republican, fuck you. If you're a Democrat, not a crime. That's how the juries work now. That is how the juries work. The prosecutors, if you're a Republican, they're coming after you. Fuck you. If you're a Democrat, unless you're a mass murderer or so painfully, obviously a fucking criminal, they'll let you off. Oh, they're worried to death about Trump. They're worried to death about people like Governor DeSantis because he's going to use his political power to put people in prison, right? Trump, he's going to come after all the Democrats. Well, only if they're fucking criminals, but they're saying everybody, right? Here we are. Right? Your attorney that you hire is a friend of the court. You hire an attorney, their job is to make the courtroom operate properly, not to defend you. Their number one, shall we say, professional duty is to protect themselves and the good name of attorneys. Yeah, look out, badass diving frog. I'm telling you, not a good scene. All right, we got Chin Music back. And he says, punishable by a fine means legal for a price. That's right. Now I think this, right? If I am going to pay a fine for speeding, then shouldn't I be able to speed from that point on? I paid my fine. Oh, wait, no, it's for every time you're caught speeding. Oh, I see what you got here. Punishable by a fine means legal for a price, says Chin Music, and they, the government, can afford to pay since they are using our money. We are suckers. Well, we're worse than that. We are the bitches of the government. They can come after us, and then if we sue them, well, they just give us some of our money back. They'll be like, okay, thanks for suing us, John. We've learned our lesson. Now, tax collector, go out and get money from that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, and that guy. Bring it over here and give it to John. We got to fuck all them to pay for our mistake with John. That's how they work. That's our system. I really believe that a prosecutor and law enforcement should be held accountable if they can't prove somebody guilty of the crime that they're accusing them of. That is a false accusation, is it not? If I falsely accuse someone, if I call the police and I'm like, hey, police, my neighbor just pulled a gun on me. We got a problem here. And the police show up. I have given the police a false report. I have made a false accusation. And I get arrested and I go to jail. If a prosecutor makes a false accusation, that is to say, I prove my innocence in court, they get fined. How about that? They lose a part of their paycheck. Every time they falsely accuse someone, $1,000. If you alter evidence, well, that's a crime right there. They should go to jail for years and years. But they don't. They falsify evidence. They withhold evidence. They withhold discovery. They lie. They manipulate. And they get away with it. The judge lets them get away with it. The people let them get away with it. I want accountability, folks. I hear you, Chin Music. I hear you, man. I'm pushing for it. I am pushing for it. Now we go to Name Redacted. He says, never forget that there are lots of people that speak our language but believe our guy is bad. I'm a little confused here, name redacted. When we say people speak our language, like English, yeah, I speak the same English that Democrats speak, but they have different definitions for the words. That's the difference. They just define everything differently, right? I say I want to be safe, so I want to live in a safe area. They say you're a racist. What you're really saying is you don't want to live around black people or Hispanic people or Native American people. No, I just said I want to feel safe, but they redefine that. They put words in your mouth. They tell you what you're actually saying. And if you believe it, sure. They speak our language, but well, Trump is bad. Now, if you say there's Republicans that speak our language, Republican language, but they believe Trump is bad, well, those are some misinformed, uninformed Republicans. Now, they may not like Trump, but how could they possibly vote for Kamala Harris, abortion on demand, invasion by our country with, or invasion of our country by terrorists, right? Destruction of our military. There are not enough sailors in the United States Navy now to man all the ships they have. Did you know that? Because the Navy is a sack of shit, crock of shit military organization these days. It was questionable when I was in. And the Air Force back then, we didn't even know if they were on our side. That was a long time ago. Look at where we're at now, right? In order to vote for Kamala Harris, you have to hate America, support terrorism, want to kill babies, destroy colleges, cut off kids' genitals, arrest Americans, put them in concentration camps, silence us, get rid of the First Amendment, get rid of the Second Amendment, get rid of the 10th Amendment, get rid of the 4th and 5th altogether. Nobody can say they're for all those things and they're still a Republican. Those aren't Republicans then. They claim to speak our language if they claim to be Republicans, but they're not. They're not. They're rhinos at best and turncoats on the other end. All right, let's see what we got here. Chin Music says, Hot Wheels. It's an election year and World Economic Forum, Greggy Boy, doesn't stand up for Paxton. Hot Wheels. Greg Abbott is in a wheelchair. Most people don't know that unless you're a Texan. So that's why he's Hot Wheels. Yeah, he doesn't stand up for Paxton. I'm not a huge fan, man. Not a huge fan. He's trying. I will commend him when he does something right, and I will continue to point out and go after and hold accountable as best I can politicians, bureaucrats who fuck up. And Greg Abbott, governor of Texas, has not been as Republican as I think he should be. Right? He didn't stand up for Ken Paxton when they tried impeaching him and getting him out of office, accusing him of crimes. Yeah, Texas has got a lot of soul searching to do. I am very glad, though, Chin, that they're getting the fucking fake people, dead people, animals, the multiple registered to vote people who vote in every district they can drive to multiple times. They vote in person and they do mail-in ballots. Let's get all that cleaned up and then see what kind of politician can get elected in Texas. Right? Let's see who runs for office and actually gets elected. Real political candidates. I'm going to point to Wyoming, the great state of Wyoming. I think there's 12 people that live there. Hi, folks. Wyoming. It's out there. But Wyoming said to Liz Cheney, Liz Piggy, daughter of Dick Head Cheney. Liz Cheney was a Republican, supposedly, was in Congress working for the Democrats, going after Trump with their J6 committee. And she was such a fucking fraud, such a sellout sack of shit, that the voters got rid of her and said, fuck you, bitch, and she was destroyed out of office. That's what happens when you have real Republican voters and they realize what they've been getting wasn't Republican. So yeah, Mr. Hot Wheels, his days are numbered. You don't just talk like a Republican, talk like a patriot. You have to act like it. That needs to come, folks. It really does. There we go. I'm looking for more topics. All right. Here we go. Oh, would you look at that? Prosecutors and lawyers, according to name redacted. I don't know about this one for sure, but I'm going to take your word for it for the purposes of an academic exercise. Lawyers, prosecutors, judges aren't sworn in is how they get away with it. Oh, yes, they can lie, cheat, and steal in court. Now, are judges sworn in? I think they are, the ones that are elected. When you elect a judge, any elected official has to be sworn in. So the district attorney, not so much. But the prosecutors that work under them, deputy district attorneys, well, you would think they should be. But a liar is a liar. A tiger can't change its stripes. Neither can a zebra. And a cheetah can't get rid of its spots. Neither can a leopard. And lawyers, attorneys, barristers, and solicitors, to use English expressions as well, are all scum. That is terrible. It's terrible. And look at everyone who works in Washington, whether they're with the IRS or the FBI, or they're a congressional staffer. They're all attorneys, and they're here to fuck us. That's exactly what they're doing here. And yeah, they can lie all they want, and they don't care. They have no compunction. They're absolute scum. Prove me wrong. Okay, let's continue here. Hot Wheels is a rhino placeholder, huh? Okay. Questions, comments into the section. Please do all caps for me. No one's mentioned this. No one has mentioned this. Have we or have we not on the Prepared Mind channel predicted that with all of the open allowed theft in large cities in liberal districts, guess what we said was going to happen? Stores were going to close down. Oh, you betcha. Stores are going to close down. Corporations are there to make a profit. They're not there to lose money. So they close down their stores. They're called racist. They're called Islamophobic. They're called, all kinds of names. Too bad they're gone. Well, guess what? They are doing exactly what you and I predicted they would do. Chicago is among the first of the cities to do this. They want to run, get this, they want to open for business city-run grocery stores, government grocery stores. How many of you would feel comfortable shopping at the gum department store? And if you're a Gen Xer, you probably know what a gum department store is. Who wants to shop in a communist or socialist store? Remember Bernie Sanders when he said bread lines aren't that bad? Bread lines aren't that bad. What are we talking about? In communist Soviet Union, Russia, people would stand in line for hours to get a loaf of bread. People would stand in line for hours to get some vegetables. People would stand in line for hours to be given a little bit of meat. Bernie Sanders said those food lines are fine because if people are standing in line to get food, they're not out committing crimes. Folks, the government wants to have stores. And this is great. Name redacted said, remember the old Russian shops with a single salami hanging in the case? Yeah, they would show a picture of the window and there'd be a couple pieces of meat on a hook. There'd be like people standing and there'd be the good big glass on the counter and there'd be nothing in the display case. They'd have to go in back and get some stuff. I remember that. Those were the Russian, Soviet communist food stores. Oh, good golly. Good golly. Badass Diving Frog says, can you imagine shopping in a government gun store? Not a government-run store, but a government gun store. Oh, yeah. You know what would happen in a government gun store? Every employee would have a gun. And then they would make you fill out reams and reams of paperwork just to start talking about a gun. They would make you sign all kinds of paperwork. They would have you pay taxes and fees and stamps. And then they would sit you down for a psychology test, right? Because it's a gun store. They won't sell you something unless, well, they feel like it. Anyways. You guys are rotten. Name redacted said, just go to one of Michelle's liquor stores for some beer roccoli. Broccoli. Okay, you guys are funny. So, the store. Government stores will have armed guards for Mad Max time. Because we said when shit hits the fan, food isn't being delivered, the stores will be looted, whether they're government or not. Whether they're government or private, they'll be looted. And so when they get food in, guess what? They will have armed guards. The government will seize control of those stores in Chicago and LA, and Detroit, San Francisco, Pittsburgh. They will seize for the emergency only control. Just like they did under Cerveza Bug, they closed all the stores over here and they closed all the stores over there. And they said, you can go to Walmart for food. You can go to Home Depot. You can go to Target. Those are the only stores that we're going to allow to be open. And those will be the only stores where food can be delivered to. Now go back 5 years, 6 years, and look at Venezuela. They were running out of food. Food trucks driving down the road. The people would harass them with cars, trucks, motorcycles until they would crash the food trucks or make them pull over. And then they would loot the food trucks trying to get food. Understand, folks, they want this. Kamala wants this. The socialist communist piece of shit mayor, BJ of Chicago, wants this. They want this. They want the government to run the stores, food stores, retail stores. They want to tax everybody. They want to make sure you can only come in and buy what they allow you to buy. They want to get away from a capitalist type system and go into a completely controlled economy where they control means of production, distribution of production, sale of production, and they can control and tax it all along the way. All along the way. They want to control our movements and everything we do. Unbelievable, isn't it? If they say go home, they want you to go home. If they say come out, they want you to come out. Get this. There is a voluntary lockdown in 4 Massachusetts cities, small cities. What the fuck is a lockdown? It's where someone with authority says, get in your house. So what is a voluntary lockdown? Literally, what is a voluntary lockdown? Seriously. And what are they doing? They are combating a deadly and incurable mosquito-borne disease. Isn't that the Eastern equine encephalitis? Yeah, the Eastern equine encephalitis, the EEE or triple E. It's a rare but serious viral illness transmitted to humans through an infected mosquito who bites you. Or could it be that they've got mRNA mosquitoes out there? Well, here's the deal. It's not a lockdown if it's voluntary. What they're trying to do is scare people. And I think one person a year actually gets the Eastern equine encephalitis and dies from it. Well, if we could just save one life. Communists. Fucking tyrants. Authoritarian fucks. That's who they are, the government. So they start with a voluntary lockdown. Somebody's going to get bit. Somebody's going to get sick. Somebody's going to be diagnosed with it. It'll become a mandatory lockdown. By the way, this anti-mosquito cheat I discovered today, I don't know if it's true or not because I haven't used it, but apparently you take some vanilla extract, put it in a little spray bottle with water, and spray it on your legs, your arms. Mosquitoes hate vanilla, apparently. It's too vanilla for them. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They need to combat the deadly, incurable mosquito-borne disease. Well, if it's so incurable, so deadly, so transmittable, why is the lockdown voluntary? And if it is so deadly and so incurable, why don't we all have to run from mosquitoes every year? It's bullshit. Once again, they are pushing a conspiracy pandemic theory on us. Are you going to get locked down? Are you going to close your business? Are you going to not go to work? Are you going to hide in your house? Are you going to refuse to get near? Are you going to wear a mask to stop the mosquitoes? Wow. All right. Let's do this. What else we got going down here? Charlanator says, test that out for us, John. Well, you bet, Charlanator. I need to get some. I do. Name Redacted said it's another psyop. It's another psychological operation to see if people are stupid enough to fall for it. They want to keep us in a state of fear because fear is the single greatest motivator. It's even stronger than greed. Fear. But John, powerful people, you know what powerful people, why they fight so hard? Because they fear they will lose their power. They fear they will be held accountable. And so they do as they're told and they fight like hell to keep their power and keep screwing us over. That is what government does, folks. That's what they're best at, screwing us over. It is a psyop. There's going to be a lot of psyops, a lot of false flags, a lot of lying, a lot of bullshit. It's coming. And the RFK, that's hurting the Democrats. And the Tulsi Gabbard, that's hurting the Democrats. And there was even a rumor out there that Taylor Swift's agent, talent agent or whatever that person is that promotes her is upset because Taylor Swift might endorse Trump. It's just a rumor. Could it be true? Fucking can't stand that bitch. But once again, it doesn't matter who I like. If they take votes away from Kamala and they go over to Trump, that's good. If people are so disgusted with Kamala, they can't vote for her, they won't vote for Trump, but they hate Kamala too. That's just the same to me. It's a lot of these RFK voters, they're not going to go vote for Trump. They're just not going to vote at all. Same with Tulsi Gabbard. It's not that they're going to go vote for Trump. They're just not going to vote for Kamala because she's so anti-American. Swift, little Democrat, screwball, communist bitches are not going to vote for Trump because Taylor Swift says so. But they're just not going to be excited about Kamala. So whether they vote for Trump or not vote, either way, they're not voting for Kamala. That is the upshot. That's the positive thing. Fucking Swifties. Little tarts. All right. Last but not least, in California, Jill Biden wanted to go on a shopping spree. I mean, what's she going to buy? More shitty clothes made from furniture fabric or, vinyl that was cut in a plastic shop? Well, she wanted to go on a shopping spree while in California. So Secret Service agents were pushing peasants, just regular people, out of her way. The violence, folks, coming from the left is disgusting. Jill Fake Dr. Jill, the woman who has abused her elderly husband. I think Jill is more of the president than Biden is. That to slam people out of the way so she can go shopping. That's how you know you live in an authoritarian dictatorship. Did Trump ever push people out of the way? No. He would walk around, meet people, greet people. He didn't just slam them out of the way. Get out of my way, peasant. It's coming, folks. The Democrats are coming. Are you prepared? Chance favors the prepared mind, folks. It does. It has. It always has. And it always will. I'll see you 0 Dark 30 tomorrow.